J.
The Third
Back
Perspective.
for real. Third Perspective Podcast. Plastic surgery. For about
The
2
Third
hours.
Perspective.
So you don't need all the tape and all that. You know what I'm saying? It was one night extravaganza. Cause I had one too many drinks.
Yes, indeed.
One too many drinks.
One night extravaganza. Hey, 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 hey,
Southeast, Northeast DC.
Cause I had one too many drinks.
What it do?
And ended up at the MC
Greenbelt, Lando.
with this pretty little thing from Washington, D.C. It was one night extravaganza. Cause I had one too many drinks.
That's your turn.
And ended up at the embassy with this pretty little thing from Washington, D.C.
Landover, Greenbelt,
One night extravaganza.
Bulldog,
Last night me and my dogs were hanging out.
Northwest,
Try to be
Southwest.
went up and down. We were simply
Some underground shit, DC.
celebrating life. Off the work today, so it's
Yes,
alright.
indeed.
But all those ups and downs gonna be in the swing.
Yes, indeed. 17,000 downplays worldwide. Lord have
Every
mercy.
record became my favorite song.
Spotify, Google Podcasts,
And that is
Apple
all
Podcasts,
that I
iHeartRadio.
remember.
Where we get your podcast at? Holler at your boy.
One too many drinks,
T3P.
and ended up at the MC. With
That little
this
shit.
little
Bring in the new year.
from Washington, D.C.
Holidays coming up.
It was one night extravaganza.
Yes, indeed.
When I woke up from last night's lavatory,
What?
baby girl was laying next to me. Shoes and clothes were scattered everywhere. I got dressed and got up my bed.
Damn, Nigeria. What it do?
But not before I
UK. Holler at
your
your boys.
Hungover from all those drinks I
Caribbean.
had.
South Africa.
Now I'm telling my story.
Talk to these boys here in Canada.
Everything that I remember. Cause I had one too many drinks.
What?
And ended up at the MC.
Damn.
With
Ah, man, I'm gonna tell you what. One thing about it, man, especially the mellow joints, man, them joints be on point. It's a side. You tuned in to the #1 podcast in the DMV. I'm your host, your late night supervisor, dope dealer extraordinaire, DC's own, Rad. B.I.D. Jones. That's Rabbit for your internet fools. To the right of me, as usual, my podcast partner, OnlyFans J. This is T3P. Now, at this point in time, everybody is fully aware that I love the black ladies. I'm lucky to be alive, happy, healthy, and free for me. And let's not forget about those Tubmans, Biden. I need those Tubmans. Even though we got the stamp and we got the coins, I need those Tubmans. ASAP. My coins too in circulations for anybody don't know. What it do? What it do? Talk to me. Talk to us. The Third Perspective Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Now, happy holidays to everybody, coast to coast, worldwide. Holler at your boys on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts at. Holler at your boys. Live stream, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, wherever you get your live screens at. Holler at your boys. You know what I'm saying? Now, talk to me, Jay. What you got going on for Christmas, bro? You already finished Christmas shop?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I ain't doing too much. Just a little something.
A little something?
Yeah. I ain't one of those type of people that give the whole world I know gifts. You know what I'm saying? Just gotta be in my budget range. Still got rent to pay. Still got electricity to keep.
I mean, people lose focus of that during Christmas time, though. Like, they start forgetting that, hey, we need motherfucking rent gotta be paid next month. Matter of fact, 2 weeks. You start getting the Xbox, start getting the Jordans and shit for Christmas. Hey, auntie need this, get auntie that for Christmas and shit. Next thing you know, when the smoke of Christmas clear up, you broke as fuck.
You got a note on your door.
And you might need to borrow some shit. You know what I'm saying?
And you might got a note on your door saying that you gotta get the fuck out.
That would not be a good situation to have a note on your door. You know what I'm saying? You ever been in a situation where you ever been put out before?
No.
So yeah. I think I've been put out one.
Probably
I can say
once.
twice. I can say twice.
I'm gonna say probably once.
That's a fucked up feeling when you get put out in the street, bro.
Yeah, when you ain't got no money, you gotta establish your credit. All
You ever been in a house where the motherfucker, you don't know the motherfucker about to put you out that day and shit like that? Man, bro.
I tell you,
stressful days.
I tell you, I've been in a house, and the landlords was supposed to be paying the property stuff. You know what I'm saying? You giving the people, written.
I know what you're saying.
So you giving the people your money, the money order or whatever.
Yeah.
You give the people your money order. Then they turn around and might fuck around and cashed out on your ass and rode the fuck out of DC. That happened. Gave the people the rent. Next thing you know, it put, they came knocking on the door talking about something. Y'all got to go. And I'm like, for what? We've been paying rent. The receipts. Paying rent to some foreigners. I ain't gonna go there and specifically what foreigners are they. I ain't talking about the Migos,
Yeah, nah.
Talking about, y'all got to go because y'all been paying y'all rent, but y'all still got to go.
Man, I've been in a punitive situation. One time I got put out one time. I wasn't supposed to get put out. That nigga lied to me. You know what I'm saying?
That's where we was at.
Yeah, I'm at work and shit. So me and the landlord, I was behind that. I think we got laid off or some shit. Something happened. It was during Bush era, so we was getting laid off and shit. So we got laid off or something for a couple of months. I was fucked up. So I talked to the landlord. I was like, look, I'm gonna be late this month, but after that, I'm gonna be caught all up. I'll be on time next month, and I'm gonna pay you whatever I need to pay you going into the following month. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I come home from work like 2 days later. But he agreed and everything. He's like, bet. Just make sure everything you on time and everything on the next month, you good. It wasn't even the next month yet, bro. I came home from work, all my shit was outside. It's like 2 days later where you ain't think about it no more. Because we had the conversation, you feel me? So I'm waiting for the first to come. It's like 2 weeks later. 2 weeks for the first.
And you walking up to your shit being on the
I'm
curb.
literally come home from work, bro. You know how you get home from work, you just rushing just to get the fuck in the house so you can sit down. You know what I'm saying? And all your shit outside.
At least you thought you had a home.
I'm like, what the fuck?
You had it in your head coming from work that you had a home.
Hell yeah.
You coming home and your shit outside and people going through it.
It's the It's the worst feeling. It was man, that's why I like some people on earth, bro. It was real. It was lucky that the lady in the basement, we always, you know what I'm saying, the old lady down in the basement, we was cool. She had put all my shit in the laundromat and everything else in her house. And only thing that was left was like the little shit they put out that she couldn't pick up. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a couch out there, big shit. You feel me? And she had took the TV in there too. Man, I was so grateful of her, bro. Cause when you pull up, you see your couch, like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Like, what the fuck is happening?
No, I'm not thinking about it's my couch though. It's like that joint look like, man, whoever that is got a joint like mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not thinking there's no way possible. That's my shit though. You know what I'm saying? They're like, bruh, I get to the door and shit. That's when the old lady come out. And she was like, yeah, it came earlier. And I told them, they need to call you. But I tried to move as much stuff I could in the house. Man, I was so grateful of her, bro. Because you know how people, like you just said, gonna go through your shit like a pigeon and shit. You know what I'm saying?
You coming home like,
oh, man.
Damn, that shit look a lawfully like mine.
Hell yeah.
Damn, whoever fucked up, they fucked up. They
yeah.
pay their rent. Then you got your keys. You about ready to
I always
stick
see people shit out there, and my first instinct is like, damn, that's fucked up. Because you know, that's a fucked up feeling to be out in the street now. Like your shit, for them to wait that long,
and then
they ain't had no other options.
Then the time that they love to kick you out is in the wintertime. They love to kick a nigga out in the wintertime, like when it's cold outside and shit.
Yeah. They can't do it in 30 degrees. That would literally save me one year. Like, I was about to go to the shelter. I went to the shelter one year, right? Because we was fucked up. This was like one of the crucial decisions in my life to go to a shelter and shit, right? This was like 5 years ago.
Because everybody pride sits in the way about going to the shelter. A lot of people are like normal people would our pride be in the way of going to the shelter. Like me personally, if I was to get put out today or tomorrow and it's 20 degrees outside, I still won't go to the shelter. I'm not even gonna lie.
I know what you're saying.
My pride stays in the way of that. Like I would never go to the shelter. Like I'd rather die freezing outside than go to the shelter.
Exactly.
That's me.
Now, the last day I went to Vanessa Williams. Is that the name of that?
Virginia Williams.
Virginia Williams, oh shit. But it was just there to get the feel for what can I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I was done. You know what I'm saying? It's like after Smithfield and shit. And me personally, like you just said, I wouldn't give a fuck. But I had a son. He was like 5, 4. You know what I'm saying? So that stirred my decisions and everything. Because like you just said, honestly, I tough it out for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Until I find another spot. I can sleep at work, in a car. You know what I'm saying? Work overtimes and shit where it's really irrelevant that you don't have nowhere to live. You know what I'm saying? You know? So I can go 6 months like that and shit. And then, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't give a fuck. But when you got a child, it's just like, and then that last day, we went in that joint. Talked to him and shit. I'm like, yeah, I think about it and shit. So it was in the middle of winter. It was like 29 degrees. It was cold as fuck. Right? And I ain't had no more option. I tried everything now. After I talked to her, I went and tried everything I possibly could do, right? And then I went back to her and shit. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, they was full of some shit. It was like nowhere to put, right? And it was like, because it wasn't just me, it was like my son and his mother was coming, right? And she was like, but it's 29 degrees. Anything under 31 degrees, we can't turn you our way. Right? So I was like, okay. Because I didn't even know that shit, you know what I'm saying? I know it's cold outside, but I ain't know some type of, like a level of shit. Yeah. So when she said that, I'm like, oh, so you going to give me somewhere, you know what I'm saying? She was like, yeah, so we're going to sign you up and get your family joint, right? This is DC General. DC General closed up now. It literally closed up 2 months after we left, bro. Y'all know the little girl that got missing in the joint. In DC General,
I know you just talking about.
I think the janitor or some
Took her out of her.
yes, DC General in DC is they had turned the anybody don't know DC General was a hospital that they turned into a shelter, right? And I was living in that joint, right? And they had put us in the family section of the
Felicia Rudd.
Rudd, exactly, yeah, and she was missing. So they was closing the joint up like 2 months. You know what I'm saying? And then I came home from work, right? And this is one thing people gotta understand about the shelter shit, right? That you can find yourself in a situation like that even though you working every day. I was literally working every day. You know what I'm saying? But the only problem was my credit wasn't good enough to get me an apartment. You know what I'm saying? Within the time I needed an apartment. You feel me? I needed somewhere to live, right? So my time was running out, but my credit wasn't going up. You know what I'm saying? So only way I was getting an apartment if your credit was up. My credit was fucked all up. And that situation was we was falling down the motherfucking hill and we was trying to grab on the tree limb somewhere, fucking way. So you know what I'm saying? So and by, like you said, I was just went on my own, just did my own shit and got away with it. But once you got a child that's 4 or 5 years old, I just had to make that decision and shit. So we go on the shelter. And luckily, it was 29 degrees that night and shit. You know what I'm saying, dog? And the lady let us in that joint, yo. You know what I'm saying? And that changed my life. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't even know how to do anything at the time, but warehousing and all that. So I went to school while I was in the shelter and shit, right? You know what I'm saying, dog? Learn how to cut hair and shit. You know what I'm saying? I said now this is my 4th year anniversary in my barber shop that I own and shit, man. You know, Fresh House Groom Studios, if anybody don't know. You know what I'm saying, dog? So this is the 4th year of that. So this was 5 years ago. I was living in the shelter, right? Learning how to cut. I even had the mannequin in the shelter, propped up on the shelter desk and shit, you know, in that joint cutting and training and shit. Get myself in trying to learn how to do this shit as fast as possible in the shelter. You know what I'm saying? And then I finally got a job in a barber shop. You know what I'm saying? And then from this point on, and that was it. Then I started. I bought my own barber shop 2 years later. So from the shelter to owning a barber shop was like a year and a half difference. So I'm going on my 4th year anniversary now. You know what I'm saying, dog? So to me, if you're in a shelter right now, right, use this as your opportunity to advance your life, bro. You know what I'm saying? Don't just fucking lay there and just wait till apartment come or whatever the fuck. Like, it wasn't there because I was a broke fuck. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? I was working every fucking day. It was just, you couldn't get no places. You know what I'm saying? No problem to accept you. You feel me?
So unless your credit is good.
Yeah. So it put me in a fucked up situation because I only had like 60 days to find a place to stay. And within 60 days, everybody know it's hard as fuck to find somewhere to stay if your credit ain't good. You know what I'm saying, though? So by me living in the shelter, this was 5 years ago. I was living in the shelter. Now on my shop, I just want to bring this to light because it will get shouts out to everybody that worked in my barber shop and shit. It's my 4th year anniversary coming up this week right here. I appreciate it a whole lot to everybody that came in and contributed to the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that's still there, y'all know y'all in my heart. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't have a barbershop. You know what I'm saying? So from the shelter to owning a barbershop to now on the 3rd year anniversary of our podcast, that's why I always say I'm just grateful for everything. You know what I'm saying? Because I work from the shelter, literally. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing everything in the shelter. I even started doing podcasting in the shelter. You know what I'm saying? And my first time doing a podcast was in the shelter when I did a wrestling podcast with my man. Shouts out to DJ Bill, do wrestling podcast. He reached out to me and shit. And then my first time ever doing a podcast was in the shelter. You know what I'm saying? My first time cutting hair was in the shelter. You know what I'm saying? So for like you said, when people look at it as they can't go into the shelter because you know what I'm saying, their pride or something. I look at it as an opportunity, bro. If you're in the shelter right now, or if you fucking contemplating on do you want to go to the shelter?
Or contemplating on life period, because you know, some people be like, do I want to die or do I want to go in the shelter?
That's
real.
True too. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to main man Twitch in a minute. I'm glad you brought that up. But yeah, those situations will put you in a situation where I had a 4-year-old, so I had to make the decision to go to the shelter, right? But if it's just me alone, I was slept in my truck, slept at work, and just got past that shit and roughed it off. You know what I'm saying? But I could not have my son in the fucking cold, and that's how life was and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I just appreciate everybody, even including you, Jay. Everybody, real, and everybody working in a barber shop, Smigs, the barber. You know what I'm saying? Everybody working in the shop. You know what I'm saying? Check out the ponytail killer. You know what I'm saying, dog? She works in the Fresh House Grooming Studio. You know what I'm saying, herself. Check her out on Instagram. Check my man Smigs out on Instagram. They get you done. You know what I'm saying, dog? I appreciate everybody that stayed with me in the barbershop, helped me grow my barbershop to my 4th year anniversary. I appreciate everybody that come on the podcast. Radical Rail, OnlyFans, Jay, everybody that flows through the podcast to get us to our 3rd year anniversary. 17,000 down plays worldwide. You know what I'm saying? 350 podcasts on YouTube. 135 podcasts on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you want to get your podcasts at. So I just appreciate everybody, man, that been with us. That's what this podcast for today. Just to give thanks to everybody, man. Going into the holidays, we appreciate everybody that contribute to this podcast. Shouts out to Host Desires for sponsoring our podcasts. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate everybody, man, that contribute to getting us to our 3rd year. You know what I'm saying? It was not easy. You know what I'm saying? It's a hard grind podcasting. But I just appreciate everybody, man, that came in and contributed. You know what I'm saying, dog? Especially OnlyFans Jay, Radical Rail. Did almost 300 podcasts with me. You know what I'm saying, dog? We are actually podcasters now. I appreciate it a whole lot, though. You know what I'm saying? From everybody from our barbershop, Fresh House Grooming Studio, and everybody in the Third Perspective Podcast that comes through the family of the Third Perspective Podcast, we appreciate you a whole lot. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say thank you a whole lot. You know what I'm saying, dog? From the bottom of my heart. You know what I'm saying, dog? Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Twitch, Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. We're trying to get to 10,000 follows there. We almost at 9,000. Follow us on Twitter. We appreciate it a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Instagram too. Short clips on Instagram. We can check out 15 minutes of the podcast on Instagram. We appreciate it a whole lot. Everybody around the world, South Africa, Canada, Nigeria, everybody, Canada, that take the time out to download this podcast to get us to 17,000 plus downplays. You know what I'm saying, dog? And I just feel like the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you. That's mainly what we're doing here tonight, to tell y'all our progress and the state of the Third Perspective Podcast. You know what I'm saying, dog? Jay?
Yeah. Yeah, you never know how life hits you until it hits you. Like this week, it's been a rough week. I got into a car accident. My rear ended my ass and rode the fuck out the scene.
I forgot about that. Dang.
They,
And getting rear-ended ain't no joke, bro.
Yeah,
I got rear-ended before, man.
But it came out of the blue because I'm in motion. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Then I just get out the car, check my damage.
So you didn't hear it? You didn't see the light or nothing behind your back or something flash or some shit?
So I'm going up, 3rd Street Tunnel, about to come off the ramp at the U.S. Senate joint, exit 9.
Yeah.
So all I heard was boom.
They hit the back of you.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? So I stopped, put my, my hazards on, look and check and see what the fuck was going on. So I go see what the fuck was going on. She hit the front of her shit on my back. So she checked her damage. So I about to go walk up and go right where she was at. She hops in the car and rode out. Sounds like, the fuck you ain't. So I hop in my joint, about to follow her ass. My shit won't even start.
Johnny rolled up. You never found it?
Nah.
Go the fuck in.
So somebody called the ambulance for me, who saw the shit.
Yeah.
But they not at the scene themselves. They rolling out. This was the day when we were supposed to have that so-called ice storm.
Yeah.
So everybody flying like it's a normal day and shit. So I mean, it wasn't no ice outside, but it's raining though. Like everybody was just fine.
So you was driving straight, or you was backing up? What you was doing?
I was just going straight.
So you was going straight, and something hit you?
Yeah.
Damn, that happened to me before on the highway and shit, yeah.
But the fucked up part about it, this is the second time this happened. Well, the third time this happened, it like 2 years. Like somebody just running in the back of me. The first time that happened, I was sitting at a red light up on Branch Avenue, and somebody hit me while I'm sitting at the red light. So if I'm sitting at the red light at that time and I'm in motion this time, y'all motherfuckers need to go back to driving school. I don't know who the fuck giving y'all a license, 7-Eleven, CVS, I don't give a fuck. Y'all need to go back to driving school, go get your license all over again, because the shit is crazy. Like, you know, I'm thankful I'm here, but damn, that was a bad time for that. I have to put fucking deductibles and shit. So, you know, I don't know if I'm going to get my car back. They're saying there's a lot of cars in the shop, so it's hard to determine when I'm going to get the shit back. If I'm going to get it back. It said shit, some shops is backed up all the way until March. Like, shit is fucked up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, shit has been fucked up. Like, everybody's getting in accidents around here like a motherfucker. That's how bad shit is going. You got about 50 shops around here, body shops, and it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, one time we was on the highway. This is back in the day when I was in dirt. You know what I'm saying? We was going out to make a sale and shit, right? So this is when you go from northeast to the Greenbelt to make sales and shit, right? So you on the highway like a motherfucker. We balling like shit on the highway, about to go to the Greenbelt exit and shit. And some before we hit the exit, joint smack us in the back, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Damn.
Going too damn fast.
I can feel it. I'm in the back. I feel the joint hit my back, bro. Literally hit my back, bro. And I was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It hit my back. I felt, bro. We got out, the whole back of the joint was smashed. The nigga kept going, bro. Bro, we jumped back in the joint. We had about 3 pistols in the car, bro. We chased this nigga. I started smoking. Like you just said, your joint wouldn't stop. Our joint started up at first.
And did it stop?
When we got down in the joint, stopped. He's like, fuck. We jumped out of the joint. You know how we mad because the nigga hit us and dipped. You know what I'm saying? So now we mad. We jumped out of the joint, grabbed the pistols and shit. We was like, nigga, this nigga gonna be down in the joint. We just gonna walk. We gonna walk. This nigga gonna be somewhere, the gas station or something. You know what I'm saying? So we just walk. Bruh, the fucking feds, bruh, came from the other side of the highway, nigga. Crossed through the grass on the highway, nigga, after doing 55. And pulled over, start flashing light on us, man. We tossing pistols over the bushes like this. Like, hey, the nigga hit us. You know what I'm saying? Bruh, they put us in the car and shit. We went down, that nigga was right there. He was lucky as fuck they came, because we was almost there. He was right there in the fucking exit, sitting there. This joint was smoked the fuck out. He was sitting there on the phone. And bruh, soon we pulled around there in the police joint, he was sitting there. And we was walking down there, bro. You know how heated we was? Each one of us had a pistol. You know what I'm saying, dog? We all grabbed our shit out the stash. It was still there. You know what I'm saying, dog? The back of the joint was smashed in. Shout out to my nigga OG Fleetwood. May he rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? But we got hit in the back. He was driving the joint. And I felt that joint in my back, bro. It was sore a little bit in my back for a week, too. I literally felt the punch in my back. It was like somebody hit you with that forearm.
Right.
That's how I felt in my back. Like, oh, what the fuck? Somebody hit us, bro. I was like, holy shit.
I know when
they lucky as shit them fans.
I know when I got to that first accident, I sprained my finger or jammed my finger, my ring finger, and it was jammed for like a couple months. Like, it was fucked up. Then my back was fucked up. So I had to go through therapy to do that. A 20-year-old hit me, and she was on FaceTime while she was driving.
You said she was on FaceTime.
She was. Cause she hopped out the car on FaceTime. Like, ain't like she just called the FaceTime.
Yeah.
She was already on it. She was like, what? Because the person was on the phone was like, what just happened? I just saw the phone jerk. So you got into the action, said, yeah, I done hit somebody. Yeah. Sitting at the red light. I was like, how the fuck you do that?
Anytime somebody like they're sitting at the red light, they not paying attention.
They're on the phone.
Yeah.
They on FaceTime and shit.
Hell
Get the fuck off of that.
That's obvious because you really because that happens to you sometimes. You'll be looking down, then look up. Oh shit! Okay, whew, that was close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You like, oh shit! I didn't know there was a red light. Whew, that was close as fuck.
Me, I try not to get on the phone at all because you got to think about it. You're doing 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 on the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look up, every 10 seconds you'd already did like 50 yards down the street.
Yeah.
Every like 5 seconds, every like 5 seconds, you already 50 yards.
That 20 miles per hour plus the weight of the car is an impact.
Right. So let's take it, for instance, I take this SUV, this rental car that I got. Nice motherfucking joint too. When I get rich, I'm gonna have to get me one of these. But 2023 Nissan Pathfinder.
Nigga say when I get rich.
Yeah, when I get rich, I gotta give me one of these. It's a $50,000 car. You know, cars went up. But anyway, you know, it's really what I got. If I was to go a good speed, but the thing is, a car like this will let you know who you about to hit.
Oh, I see what you're saying. When someone get close, they be 2 meters or some shit like that.
Right. So not only that, it's a self-driving joint. You can. It's fucking crazy because if you put it on cruise control, right, it'll steer itself in the middle of the lane. Like you and I'd be like this.
Straight, far as it's going straight.
No, turn the curves too.
Oh no, fuck that.
It turns the curves too. It turns by itself.
But when you think about it, that's where the future gonna be anyway. You know what I'm saying? Sooner or later you just be like, turn left. You can just probably say it. You know what I'm saying? Sooner or later shit gonna be so easy. You know what I'm saying? Like technology done changed with so much. Where I can picture. Like when I was young, I used to watch a cartoon called The Jetsons, right? Some of the shit that's going on there, they was actually doing in these cartoons, right? Like they had phones and shit. They had people had people faces in their phones on the TVs and shit, bro. If y'all go back and watch The Jetsons,
that's pretty much how they got the idea.
Right? This is the motherfucking iPhones. This is us talking to each other on phones all the time, and they put shit in the microwave, and the food would just be food. Everybody need to go back and watch Jetsons, bro. Everything that's going on there, they was doing it in this Jetson joint where they was from space. You know what I'm saying? And they was living in space. They was doing, this is a cartoon I'm talking about. Anybody know what I'm talking about? A cartoon called The Jetsons. You know what I'm saying? Where they was living in space and all that stuff. And they used to heat up their food in a little microwave joint. And they put some powder in something, put it in the microwave, and they come out turkeys and all types of shit all over. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was the future. They were talking to each other on this little box and shit. It was their face on the joint. It's literally what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? And I think their cars used to lift up and float straight out of this bitch. You know what I'm saying, dog? And float up and down and shit and all that good shit. It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that science, that's why I say when it comes to politicians, you got to go with people that believe in science at least, bro, because it's all ranges of our society. Like cars, if you don't believe in science, you're not going to do none of the stuff that's innovative. You know what I'm saying? That take away polluting the air and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to stay stuck on shit from this fucking 1900s and 1860s and shit that's irrelevant now. You know what I'm saying, dog? That's why when you think about things in life, bro, like you don't think the CIA already had the capacity to talk to each other FaceTime on the phone before we got it?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like some of this shit is already done right now. It's being done. We just ain't been privy to it yet.
It's just they don't share that shit until later.
So yeah, I just think the future just is so sweet, man, because you can do so much. Like by me being raised before the games were real big, the animation was real huge. Before all that, we were just playing Atari and shit like that. I was alive then. You know what I'm saying, dog?
And if those of you that don't know, the first black person was the one that made the video game cartridge.
We
It's a
did a
black man.
podcast on that, yeah.
We did it. We did a podcast in the past. The first black man that did it.
The cartridges to go on the Nintendos.
Yeah, the video game cartridge.
Exactly.
That's how you get the Ataris, the Nintendos,
Exactly.
the Jaguars.
Well, for him, he was innovative on that. You know what I'm saying? So,
black man there.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you gotta think about it because black man did the electricity, the light bulb.
Black man did it all.
Did it all.
If it wasn't for us being enslaved here, what would America be without our innovation, bro? Music, from music to sports.
But see,
they probably would still be playing football, basketball, stuff like that. It wouldn't look the same.
Don't get me wrong. We do have a lot of innovative stuff, but when we make it, they take it. So they take the idea, they take the payments, all that. That's like Madam C.J. Walker with the first who's makeup. Who knows if her family still get paid for that?
Yeah, Madam C.J. Walker, for anybody who knows, the first millionaire entrepreneur female, black.
George Washington called peanut butter,
where she created the hot curl. Black people did a lot of shit, bro. Now think about it. She created a hot curl, the straightening black girls' hairs up.
The junk you put on the top of the stove.
Yeah, she was
the old school.
That was her joint. That was her.
The old school shit.
She was a mega millionaire early in the 1900s, where black people was being segregated. And she managed to be a millionaire, bro, by being an entrepreneur and thinking ahead. Well, we look around now, all her idea is now just all over the place. Hot curlers is all over the place. It's easier now. It's not put on the stove anymore, put it like that.
They still make those.
They innovated that.
But but that was original, the joint you put on the stove.
That's right. She invented that. That's ridiculous. She invented Pompeii too. There's a lot of stuff she invented.
The straightening comb.
The Pompeii where you put on it and make your hair straight. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit Pompeii will
for the
Hispanics and white people use today in their hair. Pompeii
for the finger waves.
Exactly. It's amazing, bro. I love black people. That's why we celebrate black people on this podcast. Shouts out to Hoodview Politics. Check that out every Tuesday night. Strictly Politics on Facebook, YouTube. We're going to deep detail dive on politics on that joint. Hoodview Politics, HVP. Check that out. You know what I'm saying, dog? That's why we celebrate black people on both podcasts. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're here for. You know what I'm saying, dog? That's what we do. Which brings me to a lot of things while we here. Like, this is our 3rd year anniversary, right? Beginning this podcast, I never in my life would think anybody outside of fucking anywhere around the block would listen to this fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? But over this 3 years, we accumulated a lot of people over the world that listen to this podcast. And I'm grateful for that. You know what I'm saying, dog? We talking about countries that I never pronounced before I started on this podcast. You know what I'm saying, dog? Like St. Kitts got us ranked number 1 in all music commentary. Now, I want y'all to understand what I'm saying when I say it is 220, let's say 3 million podcasts right now. When we started this podcast, it was only 1 million, right? So it's 2 million more podcasts since we started. 3 million podcasts, right? We can break it down in categories. But for us to be actually ranked, to me, in the top hundreds of anything, is amazing to me, bro. You feel me? I don't know about you. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about the amount of podcasts out in the world, you feel me? To have the shit that we do be ranked any fucking way You know what I'm saying? But in the top 100s of most countries, it's stupid to me, bruh. It's the craziest thing. Like, we talking about 3 million podcasts that's active. You feel me? And you gonna mention this broke down podcast, you know what I'm saying? From DC niggas and from the streets, just to give me their perspective on all trending topics.
Black Potter Wars.
Fuck the Black Power Wars, them bitch ass niggas. And you gonna tell me that we can be ranked number one in St. Kitts, right? Now, admit, like you just said, what you just say?
What, Black Potter Wars?
Black Power Wars, right? When you say the Black Power Wars, what? Hold on, it's a lot going on. When you say Black Power Wars, them bitch ass niggas told us we was too ghetto. You know what I'm saying, though? What is going on?
Yeah. So, the Black Potter Wars, that's your brother. The Black Potter Wars told us that we had high contrast logo. We sound like some shit.
When your anniversary, I'm fucking be bro.
We some shit. That's what we got. What's going on? You guys saying that we some shit and all this other shit. So, you know what I'm saying?
Said the audio some shit.
Said the audio some shit. We this, we that. We some shit. Basically. High contrast. You about to knock the joint there.
The color and all that shit.
The high contrast logo color. We got all that shit. You know what I'm saying? But we not tripping about that because we who we are. We the motherfucking people. Yeah, we motherfucking good. We raw, we do our own thing, the way you can do it, I don't know what to say about that, you know what I'm saying? What about you? I don't know. I don't know what to say, They keep saying that we some shit and all this. We could, we do our own thing. We raw, Ain't nothing we could do, We could. Oh, Black Power Wars. You know what I'm saying?
Black Power?
No, Black Power Wars. We right, but folks keep what they keep. Well, you had the Black Power Wars. They had a couple categories, right? But they talking about they winning. They had a guy who's white who won it with a couple at a Black Power Wars, and one of them had about 10 episodes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was just crazy.
That felt good too. That was, bro. Nah, we they said our motherfucking logo fucked up too.
Yeah, high contrast logo. Like they broke it all the way down to it's like y'all some shit, basically.
But basically, isn't it about what people believe and what people listen to and what people intake? Isn't about what's visualized and it's about what's the message is being delivered?
Well, in their case, it's like it seemed like they was corporatizing.
So basically, they're thinking about the wrong thing.
Yeah,
The thing is the message that this podcast is delivering to the viewers and the listeners. It don't matter about nothing else.
Yeah, that's like when BET Awards wore the platform to
Oh yeah. She only did 4 podcasts. She won an award and shit.
Everybody,
he did his girlfriend. Yeah, I don't.
Everybody was like, "Huh?" Everybody was in the office.
She beat out like Drink Champ. She was like, "Huh?"
Everybody was like, "Huh?"
The fuck you do that? She literally only had 4 joints, bro. Like, how she... Stop. Yeah, stop. And she got the role too.
Yeah, everybody. See, that's everybody thing. You know,
That's the same thing happened to us, bruh. We was entered into the Black Pod Awards, bruh. 2 white people was ahead of us.
That does not even make any sense.
How's it? What? They sent us an email and say, y'all shit your trash. You know what I'm saying? Work on it and come back next year. And then we look on there and see who won. Literally the first 2 are white people, bruh.
And then the third one had like...
Well, she been on that joint for 15 years. She probably...
The third one was like 10 episodes.
Yeah, she been on it. She won like the last 4 years or something. She been there for like 10 years. It was, I mean, they asked us to come in and join. It's my first time seeing some awards for this shit. I don't know about this shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not expecting white people to beat us. Fuck what you heard. I didn't care until it happened. You know what I'm saying? I was like, how's it gonna be a white motherfucker? What are we doing?
And I think we was like in 6th or 7th place.
Yeah, because the shit you said. That's what they said. You know what I'm saying? But
we was only. It was like how many people? I forgot. But we was like 6th or 7th place, and they said this was bad, that was bad, sound bad.
When they see an email and tell you what, you know what I'm saying? It was.
But don't take it as a knock. Just
you gotta make some reels. That was the other one.
Now I did agree with them saying we need to make like 30-second joints.
Yeah,
I did agree with that because it give you more exposure to those smaller joints. Because we podcast, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like a podcast.
Yeah.
But what she was saying was, well, it was him or her. I don't know what the fuck it was.
It was a her.
They were saying
it was a woman.
They were saying, motherfucking, like make short joints. I agree with that part right there.
Make short joints so people will be intrigued of what else you got.
And sometimes people will be going through their joint, 30-second joints they watch. You know what I'm saying? But a whole podcast is not on their feed. You feel me?
Right. So that intrigued them to go on there.
Yeah, I understood that one part. But to tell me my mic fucked up, you don't like my motherfucker T3P, I like that. What are you talking about? It was a fact.
Just ask her, did she understand the message that's being delivered from the podcast?
Nah, it wouldn't. Nah, be honest with you, it never said anything about the content itself.
That's the most important part to me. Right?
So to me, it wasn't the content for them. They wouldn't ask to see the content was good enough for them to actually, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was just all the other shit around it that broke podcasters don't do. You know what I'm saying? Like the $1,500 mics and all that wild shit you talking about. Like what? You know what I'm saying? You're missing the point of the third perspective. You know what I'm saying? No, don't tell me to do that. Yeah, we ain't doing that. You can hear it's good and clear. What the fuck wrong with you? But those, I admit, those 1,500 mics be motherfucking like Jim Button and all them. Well, that shit just be like, I don't know. It just sounds. I don't know what it be.
It sounds like you on MSBC.
Exactly. Yeah, it be so. Yeah, I get that, but my shit clear though. You know what I'm saying?
It sound like you on the news joint.
They gave us some. They gave us some slack though, Shorty. Hey, anybody don't know right now? There's my little bro right here, Shorty, on the podcast tonight. You know what I'm saying? Stopping through and shit right here. But that was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That was fucked up. I ain't care until we saw the white people win. That just threw me way off, bro. Like one girl was married to a white dude. I think they won, didn't they?
It was one, yeah.
So there was a couple. I think they was doing biracial couples, which is not black. It's not a black podcast.
Because it's on both perspectives.
It's just stupid, man. Then the other joint got 2 white people on it. It's like, there's more white people than black. How the fuck is that a black podcast, dog? Then that's when we had a conversation. What makes it a black podcast? Like, what do it now?
Then that's when they sent that email. I think they got a hold of one of our episodes.
Asking what was the criteria? What the fuck wrong? Because first of all, you gotta be born. That's the first criteria. Like, nigga, we can't be at white people. What are you doing? Why call it a black pod then? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, But my thing about the Black Pod Awards is we recognize around the world. You know what I'm saying? Something I never expected. I was telling before you came in, Shorty, like out of this joint thinking like people around our way, 20, 30 people max, right? That just follow the podcast and listen to our conversation, right? But I never would think where you look at I looked a month ago and started looking at the rankings around the world. I never thought of this before, right? And see TDP in shit, you know, it's like I don't give a fuck is the top 100. Like in Zimbabwe, we had 75. To me, I shit on myself, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, 75 in Zimbabwe? A podcast is like, what you mean? There's so many podcasts, bro.
Right.
Like, how we even somewhere? You feel me? So when I look around the whole joint, now I'm looking at us, we in the top. We nowhere under 100 in all countries, bro. Like some countries like Barbados, we in 23. You know, same kick is like we number 1. Caribbeans, I don't know why the Caribbeans we high, like top 5.
Yeah, we're pretty much British colonies too.
Exactly. And UK and Malaysia is like our top countries that listen to us.
Which
like,
is
what the fuck is that?
Which is the actual. Which is the
Malaysia. Actual and shouts out to whoever in Malaysia. Hey, I appreciate you a whole lot. Whoever under some palm trees listen to us, bro. It's like, yeah, I appreciate you, bro. You know what I'm saying, dog?
Make sure y'all send us some tickets so we can go fly there and chill.
Yeah, and have a
vacation.
What's those things called? A Greek meet? Yeah. A Greek meet in Zimbabwe. So, by the way. Zimbabwe. Remember, we was at 200 in Zimbabwe. We had 75. 200, I was happy. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's like, y'all don't understand, like,
because there's millions of podcasts.
It's just crazy, bro. Yeah, it's like us out of everybody. Like corporations do podcasts now. You feel me? Like ESPN, MSNBC. For you to just be even, bruh. I don't know about you, but that right there is way over the top for me. So now I start looking into more of the rankings on Spotify. Now we on iHeartRadio. For anybody don't know, check out. We on iHeartRadio now too. For anybody out there. So that should bring up more, you know what I'm saying, people that's already on iHeartRadio probably ain't get a whiff of what's going on. But like we said, this podcast is for us just to go back and really, first of all, the stats alone is staggering, bro. You know what I'm saying? To get to 17,000 downplays, first of all, it's just crazy. 17,218 to be exact now. You know what I'm saying? Didn't never think that. You know what I'm saying? Remember when we got the 2,000? We was trying to find somebody that ever got 2,000 downplays, and we don't know nobody ever did that.
Mm-hmm.
We literally at 17,000. Bro, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, bro. You know what I'm saying? But this shit crazy to me. You know what I'm saying, dog? Because it's just, I don't know. It's just throwing me off because we just, like the podcast, Average Joes, right? And when somebody critique us, like the Black Pod joints, it make you start thinking, damn, maybe we ain't. You feel me? That would make me look into other shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's just to make you better.
So the Spotify rankings and Apple Podcast rankings is better than some Black Pod shit. As far as I'm fucking concerned, you know what I'm saying? Dog? If I'm a Spotify rank top 75 in Zimbabwe, I don't give a fuck about the Black Pod Awards. You know what I'm saying? Dog? Obviously, they ain't paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of black people in Zimbabwe that says, okay, I'd like to hear from these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Dog?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just me. Now, over the time we've been here, we averaged 102 people as an audience on our podcast. You know what I'm saying? Now, we made, right now we at $37 and shit. We made like $100 total of the podcast. One thing about the podcast thing, I found out is like when you make money on the podcast, it's real hard. It's going like 1,000 people, right? Before you can make it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like each 1,000. Some of this shit I don't know nothing about, right? I never knew till now, right? So it's like it goes like 1,000 people got to listen to your shit first before anything click, change, any coins going in there, right? And then you got to do it again. You know what I'm saying? So right now we averaging like $12 for every 1,000 person. So that's a lot though. You feel me? Yeah. And then I didn't even know it worked like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's a lot of people either way you you still getting a lot of people listening, but you don't get a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which is what I learned from the podcast, where it's ways to get money, right? But everybody can't make a lot of it doing it. You feel me? Like some podcasts can get people to sponsor it and give them a lot of money for it. You know what I'm saying? Like sponsoring, and then the same thing on where they pay you for putting it on the site. You know what I'm saying? For people downloading this shit
And subscribing and stuff.
Yeah, but it's hard as shit. I never thought that. But I never thought about this as a making money anyway. It's just as you go further, you start learning more things. Like, damn, I ain't know you can make money doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I really got it where. Shouts out to Hot Desires for sponsoring our podcast too. Where if I can just rely on enough sponsors, this podcast alone, you know what I'm saying, can generate enough income. You know what I'm saying? Just having a podcast.
Right.
It's just the stupidest thing, bro. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. So I done fell into something where I appreciate everybody that got us to this point, you know what I'm saying? But next year is a big year for this podcast, right? Because I want to do more live shows in all scenes, like in the park, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying, on a site somewhere that's different from the podcast site, you know what I'm saying? Where we go live at a cookhouse and shit like that. And podcast. You feel me?
Right.
I just want to go out different. And I want to jump out there more. You know what I'm saying? This year. I feel like to me, the podcast is more respectable as a podcast now. We as podcasters, you know what I'm saying? We can't tell us we got 350 podcasts, bro, on YouTube. Like, not how loud of people can say that. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of fucking podcasts in 3 years. 350, you know what I'm saying? Now I only put 175 on Spotify Google Podcast because at the beginning we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. The audio was fucked up. Y'all couldn't hear us. Half the time, some of the podcasts this joint just went out and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the first 100 joints was like a learning curve, I think. You know what I'm saying, dog? So we get to the point where we can just, you know what I'm saying? Then I can put those on Spotify with motherfucking heat, you know what I'm saying? Exactly, yeah.
So you had to take off.
Yeah. So the whole 350 podcasts are not on Spotify, but 175 of them is. 350 are on Twitter, Twitch, and on YouTube. So if you want to check out the beginning of this motherfucker where Big Homie D, before Jay came in, motherfucker, it's real early. You want to check out all our podcasts from the beginning. It's on Spotify. It's on Twitch. It's on Twitter and YouTube from the first podcast. You know what I'm saying? But on Spotify, wait till we got a little better for them. You know what I'm saying? The joints you hear on there. Now, although the first 4 joints are from shouts out from my man who started this joint podcast with me, Kareem. He started with me from the beginning. We had to step out. That's when Jay and Radical Rail came in. So shouts out to him. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you for coming in with me to get me started on this joint. Even though you had to step out, you know what I'm saying? But appreciate you for helping me out from the beginning. But when I got some podcasts with me and him started at the beginning of this podcast. Like the first 3-4 ones, he on there, and I left those on Spotify too. So all those joints, like when I get people to contribute to the podcast, I try to get those on the Spotify, no matter how the audio is. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah.
What you thinking, Jay?
Yeah. We've been grinding for about almost 3 years. Well,
You had COVID twice, 4 times, didn't you?
Once.
You had the flu or some shit.
And the COVID. It started off as the flu.
Yeah. Then you had COVID.
And then it turned into COVID.
He about the only nigga had the COVID shot, flu shot. There was another. He had another flu shot. He flu shot his ass up last year, 2 years ago.
I had the flu shot. I had took the first shot, but I didn't take the second one because there wasn't no point.
Exactly.
Because I already took the flu shot, so why am I taking the COVID shot? Because the flu shot, when I initially got sick with it, the flu shot got rid of it.
Yeah, you said that when you came, he was like, I don't know if I need this shot because of the flu shot. But they told you he had to take the COVID joint, right?
Well, the job did.
Yeah.
They made us take the COVID shot.
But that would dawn on me like, this is like a flu symptom thing. Because when you took that flu shot, it got rid of the symptoms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this was early in the joint when we was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. And I was like, man, you know what? This got to be some type of flu, bro. Because if they got rid of it with the flu shot, you know what I'm saying? What's the COVID-19 shot for? You feel me? So that's how this is when we was thinking through the shit. You feel me? Where we was at when it first started? Because we started this podcast the month the shit started in November of 2019.
It started in October.
Exactly.
The first case was in October.
Exactly. We started the podcast the 18th of November. And none of us was sick at the time. But there was some wild shit going on we was trying to figure out. You feel me? It's like, what the fuck is going on with this sick shit? You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't no serious shit. We weren't thinking about it like that. You know what I'm saying? Where you was at when it first broke out, Shorty? I think it was like the following year when it first, I think Trump was president when it first
he took
really
an
hit.
in that January.
Yeah. We first realized there was something going on here, yeah.
But yeah,
2019, basically, that went right there. I remember because I got sick as shit, right? This is my first time ever getting sick in so many years. I was like, what the fuck? Because I usually just get the little joint in your throat, right? You start hitting that throat with the tea and shit like that. And I'm ready. But this time I wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on.
I
What's
did
happening?
that too.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
did that too. I was drinking soups. I was
There's some
eating
extra
tea.
shit going on. Yeah. Then the next day I was weak. I was like, this different. You know what I'm saying? It was different, but this was before everything was happening. You know what I'm saying? And I was down for like 2 days. And that third day was like, I started getting sinuses. I never had that before. I was like, this is some different shit though. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? It's done. You know what I'm saying? But at the once was going on, started talking about some pandemic was going on. I was like, I think I had that. You feel me? As months go on, I started thinking, I think I had that.
When people was going to the hospital at that time, they was just saying it was respiratory viruses.
Exactly.
That's all right. That's when I was in New York and for my birthday. I took the kids to New York, and we got back a day before they locked us down.
Damn.
If we would have stayed an extra day, we was gonna stay 2 more days. If we would have stayed 2 more days, we would have been locked in New York. But we ended up coming home a day early.
Because that's when the chatter was that they was locking things down. That's when people start hearing about it, start going to the grocery stores and shit, taking all the toilet paper and shit.
This one shit was getting hit the fan with people was dying so at fast rate that I think Trump. But this one he was saying was a hoax or something.
He was saying it was just a flu.
Yeah,
no,
he said it would go away.
No, he said it was a hoax. That's what
he said. It would go away.
No, he said it was a hoace.
Anyway, he wasn't doing shit to stop it. Put it like that.
You said it was a hoax. He said,
but
what you're hearing is not real. You said live your lives. Remember?
At that time, I really don't blame him because it was real early. I don't even think nobody knew what was going on, bro. It was
he didn't know what was going on.
Later on, he was told. Once it was clear though, and he started saying he don't believe it. Then he was full of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, hold on.
No. He was briefed.
First, we all was lost.
They said the man was briefed when
before he got in office. Before he got in office.
They always brief him on some shit he paid no fucking attention to.
Exactly.
Then when the shit started hitting the fan, it's a hoax. Don't believe the numbers that people dying. The people was dying.
I know what you're saying. But somewhere in February they woke him up in February because I think the death toll started going up.
Yeah, it started dropping.
Yeah,
like that's
because the rest of Republicans
they ain't believe it.
They didn't believe it. Some did believe it. Some didn't. Some was following protocols. Some didn't. Like Ted Cruz, dumbass, he was following Trump.
I know what you're saying. And then someone was blaming
Taylor Green was the same thing.
Democrats.
Someone was blaming Fauci and them for something. I don't know what they was blaming Fauci for.
They was blaming Fauci
for not lying. They was blaming him for not lying.
He was telling the truth. They wanted him to lie.
They wanted him to say it was China flu or some shit. It was China fault.
They wanted him to lie to the people and say that nothing was going on. It was really.
They wasn't that serious, but like that. He was saying it was. They didn't want him to say it was that serious. He kept on saying it was serious.
Yeah, Trump kept downplaying him,
and they wanted him to say, "Nah, it wasn't that." Wasn't
that. And Trump was this close to firing.
Yeah, because he was telling them the truth. He tried to. He couldn't. Yeah.
He tried to. He tried to, but they advised him not to because Dr. Fauci was the voice of reason. Like he knew what was going on, and people was pissed. Like he was like, people was like.
Yeah.
Like people were dying out here, and you ain't doing nothing. You keep saying it was a hoax.
But I think we did a podcast when we went to the weeds of this. When you go over to, they got the wet market over there in China and shit, where there's no rules or anything. We already know that from the. If you work in the food industry, you know that China don't go by none of the rules you have to go through at all. You know what I'm saying? If you work in, well, China ain't doing none of that with no meat. You know what I'm saying? Though they probably killing turkeys over there with no blood. What's them joints called? We do the blood procedure joint. They probably don't do none of that there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I ain't
I know they don't probably do that because they
I'm gonna say
like all human rights joints over there.
I'm gonna say first of all, I don't think they kill turkeys. I think they kill rats, dogs, and cats.
Go ahead, yeah. Allegedly on this podcast. I'm a rat. I'm gonna tell you that orange chicken though. When I was growing up, I was suspect of that. I don't know what the fuck that was.
That's orange rat
legs. Just trying to figure out what kind of meat was this. You know what I'm saying?
That's orange rat legs.
Because I started liking it. I was like, this is good shit. But one day I looked at it like, what is this meat? You know what I'm saying? Like, my grandma just cooked like fuck. You know what I'm saying? Nothing in here looked like none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? One day I went in there, I was like, bro, what kind of meat is this, bro? Chicken. I ain't like the way he said it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like when he said chicken. I don't think it's chicken no more, yo. I ain't fuck with him.
And then when we was working at Smithfield, everybody used to crush the curry.
Oh, the orange chicken? I mean, the jerk chicken? Oh, hell yeah. Not jerk chicken. Orange chicken.
Everybody was crushing the orange chicken, the General Toast chicken, and the
General Roast chicken for sure.
And the egg fouillon.
And the motherfucking steak.
Shrimp egg fouillon.
Nah, man, I'm going to tell y'all. No, you mean the steak and cheese too, bro.
And that steak and cheese.
I'm going to tell you, I don't care where y'all living. Everybody got the curry out there had the shit, but our joint, Mama San, bruh, she used to have these big ass hamburger, cheeseburger joints. I know nobody's joints was bigger than these, bro. You can lick $3 too. Fries, drink, the half and half. You know what I'm saying? You don't know about it. You don't know about that.
I remember that.
Man, bruh.
They said had the half and half in that little.
Her motherfucking, those little big motherfucking Whopper joints. Her joint was Whopper now. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it was Whoppers. She had Whoppers, bro. Man, yo, you just go around and get the
Chinese
fries
Whoppers
and the half and half with the big ass Whopper. Shit, I'm done, nigga. Fuck wrong with you? Go back around the house with that joint.
Chinese Whoppers,
right around the corner, right? Damn, them was the days. God damn, the Mama San.
Yeah, we used to live at Big China back in those days.
Man. Damn. I know all hoods got the Chinese joint though. But that fuck, everybody, they all got a different little specials. Like some of them got the wing shit and shit like that. But our joint had the hamburger joint. She used to make them big ass hamburgers, bro. Them joints was like that shit. Talking about shit. Back in the day. Now, bro, we know over the weekend, my man, it wasn't over the weekend, but his funeral was Wick. He used to be on what's the name show?
Ellen
DeGeneres. What's her name?
DeGeneres. Ellen
show.
Ellen
DeGeneres. Just the Ellen joint, yeah. That'll make it easy, Ellen show. And he came in, he was like a dancer and a DJ. What do you think about this, bro? He killed himself. Now everybody know. Now I'm thinking about it.
As days
committed suicide. Remember, I'm on this air. There's a lot of things we gotta try to, you know what I'm saying, though? Make sure we don't say and shit. But
as days go on,
he allegedly committed suicide, but he left a suicide note. So he committed suicide.
He left a suicide note with his balls.
But my thing is, he was doing TikToks every day. Y'all don't see them joints?
And he seems
his whole family
he's cool.
in them joints. That's why I tell you the internet is not really. No, let's get into this thing right here. This is a mental issue for problem. So I think this is mental. Because you've shown the face of a happy family. This to me, I got a lot. I want to talk to the wife. I'm talking like I talk to the bitch. But I wish I could talk to whoever his wife is, because it's like
it's a head scratcher.
Yeah, it's like, bruh.
What balanced off?
Where are we at when you just have kids like this? You got 3 now, right?
And you just up and leaving like that.
Y'all actually get on camera to show me, a nigga you know, right, that your family is happy, right? So we see you on Instagram, y'all happy, doing the lead dances and shit, right? So to me, the wife right now is real important to explain to us his mental thought process leading up to that day, though.
You can't.
You don't think so?
No.
Some
If
people
you ever experience someone that's close to you commit suicide, you will never understand.
Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. I was going. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then
and
go ahead.
and what it seemed like the signs wasn't there that he wasn't happy or he was going through something over the
What
it wasn't no signs of him having that mental illness, like you know, feeling like you worthless to people, and there's other little signs that you change your mood suddenly, stuff like that.
Okay, but y'all correct me if I'm wrong, right? So, if you got kids, I don't respect nobody to do that. Let's get that out of the way. You got kids, but let's stay with the family, the wife and him right now, right? Like Shorty saying that you can go without the wife knowing nothing about it, right?
All right, let me tell you a story.
Hold on, I want you to correct me first. The wife is around him all the time, right? Even if he holds some things back, right? She had to have an inkling of him being depressed some kind of way, in something in his story. It might not be financially. I don't think it's financial. They saying it's financial. But it's something in here where she was keen to him being depressed on that. You feel me?
But how would you see the signs of that? And how would you display it? Because that's like
everyday people show struggles of money problems. Everyday people.
And right now we post pandemic, so a lot of people have mental illness at this point.
Yeah. After the pandemic, yeah. But
people
again,
lost their draw.
That would be something that gradually grew.
Their job.
But see, again, that would be something that gradually grew where she had to see happen. You feel me?
No, you don't see it.
As the wife.
You don't see
it. You don't see it. It's not there. It's like you with me 24. Unless you talk about it, then that's the only way. But it's hard for people to talk about the issues if you're in a certain state of mind. Like, if you go to counseling all day and all night and you still can't get nothing out of that person because of the simple fact that they don't want to talk to you, knowing that they got a mental issue, something is wrong there, but then they determine that ain't nothing wrong with you. So some people do that just for you to get out their faith.
All right, hold on. Before you go, Shorty. All right, tell me this then. Like you just said, how can you go by not noticing that somebody around you is depressed, bro?
If it's not about depression, it's just about everything. You gotta really pay attention.
Hold on. To the point where you got how many kids are these? 4 kids. Right? Hold on. 3. You got 3 kids. Right? To the point where it's time to go, right? Like it's just hard for me to grasp that shit, bro.
You gotta be in that person's shoes. You can't visualize that person in your life. You gotta visualize the person and what that person's struggles is, what that person is going through, and what they try to overcome, what they felt like they couldn't overcome. Your life and situation is different from somebody else. Yeah, you've been through a struggle, but maybe somebody else's struggle was harder for them to overcome. You can't look at it like that. Everybody has their own individual struggles in their own mind. And sometimes them demons take over their struggles and help them and make them do things they do without talking to everyone, support and having the support background. It's just something you just can't see. Like I haven't experienced it. Like you can't.
We all have some type of mental illness somewhere. If it's like Antonio Brown with CTE or this person that was born with the defect, or this person was going through financial issues, or this person going through relationship issues, we all have some type of mental capacity that's kind of like that. It's an area that it's a little fine area that needs to be covered. But at the same time, we all, you know,
Do you put any blame on Ellen DeGeneres? What's her name?
Ellen
You can't
DeGeneres.
No,
No,
you can't put no
Did
blame
you-
on nobody.
you heard?
You can't put no blame on nobody.
I mean, not blame.
you can't blame no.
I'm trying to find
That's
the
the
right
last
word
thing
for
you
the
should
people
tell the
that's
person.
around him.
That's the
Like,
last
not blame.
thing. That's the last thing you should tell a person who has mental illness is fault or blame, because they will automatically blame themselves more than they will blame anybody else,
True.
and then that will push them even further to try to check themselves out.
Two things, right? It's funny because I watch a lot of interrogations on TV and shit. I like watch interrogations and shit. And this morning I was watching interrogation where the lady threw her granddaughter off the fucking balcony of the mall.
I heard about that.
And I was looking like, how the fuck you get to the point where you throwing a baby over the joint? You know what I'm saying?
Recently, a lady
But hold on,
got off her charges off of that shit.
but they was interrogating her, right? And they found out that she had anger towards the kid because of the father
Not being in
taking
their
her
life.
daughter and not marrying her daughter, but having a kid with her. And she took the anger out on the child and never said anything, right? Like he just said, they probably keep all that shit to themselves. And then one day they was walking out the joint. She was so mad, she just threw over the joint. And the man kept asking, "What made you do that?" She was like, "It's just the anger. I was out of my mind." And then when he said that, it made me think. They can't keep it to themselves the whole time, right?
You can't
Until
talk
something
to people.
snaps. Whether it be somebody else they reach out and reflect on, or themselves. Right?
That's like if a person go to a counselor or whatever, and they
Suicide.
and they
It's high
ask
in the
them,
black community too.
and they ask them repeatedly, what's on your mind or what you got going on in your head today or whatever the case may be, and they just don't tell you shit. A lot of people like to hold shit in until they have that thought of fucking up or throwing somebody, like a baby, off the balcony, or like back in the days, Chris Benoit killed his family and hung himself. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
And that was because of CTE.
I mean, allegedly.
Allegedly, it was CTE.
Like he said, it could have been some mental shit from the beginning.
All right. See, I lived in a state that has I lived in a state that had the highest suicide rate in America. I lived in Seattle, Washington. Okay, that's where it just, I don't know, it just got a high state. You know, I could figure why, because you got really 9 months of nothing all day, all year long. Just rain. Like literally, it's depressing.
That's depressing,
Yeah.
You know, I was there for 3 years. Like, it's just rain. You get a month and a half of summer, and after that, it's just rain. You know, that's one of the highest states for suicide. But people
being like where you live at, the depression, the stress of where you live at, right? I mean, let me see. Like you say, Seattle rain all the time, so that give you that depression feel. You feel me?
But if you're not an outdoor person, then you're not going to enjoy the state. The state's the outdoor state. You know, that's where you go. You're fishing, and you're hunting and things like that. You're not an outdoor person. You're in the wrong state.
I see what you're saying. You gotta be a hunter to be like I always say, where you live at is really gotta be mentally. Are you fit for wherever you're going? You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta know where you being at. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just one day wake up. I'm gonna move to Seattle. I like my team. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's like
they don't do no research other than what's the name playing there no more. Like what the fuck?
why you think Kanye went to Wyoming?
That's to get away.
Mm-hmm.
When you go there, it's just like he probably away from everything out there.
Wyoming, there's nothing there
And then half the people
except
probably
for
don't
some
recognize.
buffaloes.
Like he's just a black person. Like he go to gas station.
AFC.
Yeah, he normal out that motherfucker for sure. Like a regular person.
But no, you can't.
Some yaks and some buffaloes.
Hell
It's
yeah.
the only
Hey,
thing that's-
Buffalo, number one AFC, baby. Number one AFC. All right, that's
Lucky.
Oh,
number one AFC, baby.
that buffalo.
Yeah, those Bills. But no, mental health is like serious. Like it's something that us as black people, you know, we was always told to hold it in. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with you. Suck it up. Blah 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 blah.
That's true.
We've been told that all our lives. Like, no, go get checked out. You really need to go get checked out, especially after this pandemic we had. a lot of things go through people in their minds that shouldn't be there. Really go get checked out. Talk to someone. Suicide, mental health, all this is a real big issue right now. And everybody need to be putting things together to help our kids, our youth, to get through this, especially after the pandemic, the last 4 years of Trump's hell, like
I think the pandemic really put stress on a lot of people. Even normal people like nurses and doctors, like crazy for them, bro.
The 80s
I
and
think all of them
90s
need a
was crazy.
vacation for real.
The 80s and the 90s was crazy. Shit.
I'm telling y'all like this. Really, we went through a pandemic. Crack was the worst pandemic you could ever experience. You trust me.
We was just in the house. Crack, you had to be outside. You had to shoot it. You had to use it. You had to duck bullets if just in case somebody ain't paying them their money. Somebody getting their dick sucked, getting AIDS on it.
I'm telling you, crack was the worst pandemic you could ever experience as a child. Like, you grow up fast. If you don't grow up, you lost.
And then it don't help because when you go to school or, if you was a kid, one of those kids, you got one of those people, everybody had them in their neighborhood or somewhere around that say you ain't shit when you grow up, telling you that you'll be one of those kids that's going to be going in and out of jail, or you're going to be a fuck up when you grow up.
Yeah.
You got one of those people that was in the 80s and 90s too. It was a couple of them that was in the 80s and 90s. Talking about you ain't going to be shit when you grow up.
Yeah. That's crazy because...
And that sometimes carry you when you grow up. Like, you really ain't going to be shit when you grow up.
You got to be strong-minded.
That's crazy because I grew up where it was actually crack being boiled in the pot in my house.
Yeah,
I go get some cereal. There's a pot over there with some crack boiling.
I'm telling you,
that's literally growing up like that.
And then you got Pyrex full of
for the mental issue part. I grew up where my aunt murdered my grandfather in my face, bro. I think I had to be like 7, 8, 9 years old, and we were sitting at the fucking table eating, literally. This is the mental issue part of the game, where I grew up. My aunt had mental issue problems, right? Where what I'm saying, she was going in and out of the hospital, those joints, getting the medicine and all that wild shit, right?
Rehab.
Yeah, and this was one of the times she came home, and we was literally sitting there eating breakfast. Grandfather and king syrup, everything on the table. We eating pancakes.
Put the corn in it.
Yes. And she literally just picks up the fork and sticks it in his chest.
The fork.
It was no argument. It was nobody arguing. It was just, we was just sitting there eating. And I can remember it when I was 8. It's hard to say you can remember something you ate, but when that happened, I couldn't let
you can't forget that.
Like, I was just sitting there looking because everything was normal. You know what I'm saying?
The fork,
He was there, and she just stuck it in. It wasn't no argument.
It wasn't no knife. It was a fork, though.
It was just the craziest shit. Yeah. But she had mental issues, though. She had, and
she must have been real pissed off at him to do that.
And by us being there, we didn't know how much danger we was really in by being around somebody that was mentally ill like that. We didn't know that. That was our aunt. We loved her.
I expect you to say the gun or a knife. You said a fork.
Yeah,
like, goddamn.
It was just real. It wasn't even no. Just did it. You know what I'm saying? Just.
You gotta have some force in the fork.
And that's what he was saying earlier, where
unless it was one of them old folks back in the day.
It was more of a mental issue with her. It wasn't something where she just snapped one day. It was just all ongoing anyway. She already had mental issues.
She was holding this shit.
And it was one of the times where they let her come home and shit. It was tough, man. I was young as shit when we were sitting at that table. It happened so fast. It was just like I didn't know he was dead. You know what I'm saying? It was just like I just knew he was hurt, and it was just everything started moving slow. Like, why you do that? You know what I'm saying? I just didn't know what was happening, bro. I didn't know. I knew she was. You know that the family members mentally ill because they talk to themselves. You feel me? So you know that, but you still ain't connecting. Why you do that though? Why you do that?
Why you saw that in them?
But when you get older to now, you know that you're mentally ill. You know what I'm saying? Like anything might have snapped in her. We don't know what was going through her mind. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't her real father. So that could have been something going on in her mind. I don't know. when I look back at everything, I try to think of everything at that time. That's the only thing I really think of where the dynamic there might have been something going on where I didn't know. You feel me? But I was little. You know what I'm
Sometimes
saying?
that's why I say sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's just a snap. It could be anything.
It was the
Anything.
craziest shit. And he laid on the table. And that was my first time there. That was crazy. That was my first time being around somebody who was mentally ill. But to them, it was just my aunt. I didn't think of her as somebody that would hurt you. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Until that day. And it was like, damn. You can actually hurt. When I realized that he was dead, I was still little, but I realized that he wasn't ever coming back again. We went to the funeral and everything. Like, what? You know
what
what I'm saying?
the fuck
like,
just happened?
Yeah.
Like, I'm stuck.
I never woke up from that. Like, it just happened so fast, bro. It's
But
like,
then again, you probably thought at that time, like, because you're so young, you thought it was a dream.
it was just like
it just happened. It's like,
happened so
what
fast,
the fuck just happened?
And we just not.
And
everything started
I
happening.
need to wake up. This is a nightmare.
Everything moving and moving. And that way at the front was like, he really, what is happening? What? You know what I'm saying? It was real crazy, bro. The way she just did it, that was crazy to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that was my first.
I'd be traumatized too.
For mentally ill, when you know somebody's just, they there, but they're not there. You know what I'm saying? So, that was my tough experience with that right there early. So I already know.
But it's kind of different. It's kind of different between her and somebody. Hers was already exposed. We already knew about her. So it was like, as us kids, as the adults that was in the family, they tried their best to make sure that she was healthy and she was, taking her medicine and doing things like that. But for somebody who's holding it in and somebody that's not saying nothing, you don't know. It just one morning they just wake up and say, "I'm going to fall out the window."
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a snap that day, like I was telling you about the lady that threw the over the mountain. That day, she never thought about doing that until that moment. She said this shit that's why I like watching interrogations, because you get the mind of that person that did that dumb shit. You get it then, what they was thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, I was mad at the way he treated my daughter, and that's his child. It's like, huh? And right there, just stopped to throw her over the joint. Like,
she old school, because that's how the old people used to do.
Yeah,
they
kept on saying getting more attention to me and stuff like that. It's like, bro, you too. What the fuck? That's some mental shit, like you said. But yeah, shout out to everybody out of that joint. If you're dealing with mental issues right now, man, don't be afraid to go out somewhere and get. I don't know, so some places where you go out somewhere and make sure you go.
You just go online. There's a lot of 800 numbers out here, but look online, look for a specialty, look for something like
they do got apps now.
Yeah, plus you got apps. Talk to your doctors. You have doctors. Your doctors can recommend somebody, but please talk to someone.
Yes.
Like, really, I had to go see someone because just recently, I lost 2 of my employees in less than a week, and it was like one of them was on my son's graduation day. Like, my son was real good friends with the guy. For me to have to turn around and tell him the next day that, your friend got murdered. Like, my son is the same age as him, so the first thing in my mind was like, that could have been my child.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm in the middle of work, and he's working, and he expecting the guy to come in about 2 minutes, and now I turn around and tell him that the reason why he didn't come to the dinner last night because he got killed the night before. While we was at the graduation, my son walked across the stage at 6:00. He got killed at 6:00.
All right.
And then a week later, another one of my employees was just riding, go see his kids, and somebody just shot him on his moped because he was moving too slow.
That's why, man.
That's the other thing.
That's
People
why
just lost their damn mind.
That's why, man. I don't know. Mental issues is a real serious issue, especially with Black people, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's why. Same thing with my daughter, man. She had some issues when she was younger, but she don't want to talk about them. And I told her I don't never bring it up on this podcast, but it's just something that's really irking me, bro. It's like, I don't know. And I don't want that to be an issue with somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I stand back and say, fuck it, maybe it'd be one of those situations, you know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be with something eating somebody up and I'm not dead, you know what I'm saying?
To clean up the mess.
And I'm standing back saying, oh, that person was there and let that, you know what I'm saying? The same thing I'm saying about somebody else and shit, you know what I'm saying? But it's just hard. Now when I look at it now, it's like, if the person's not telling you nothing or even giving you any, you know what I'm saying? Then it's hard to intervene in it.
Well, there's ways around it. Like, Me growing up, we had some issues. The family did. So my sister went to a program. wasn't like it wasn't like mental stuff. It was like Big Brothers and Sisters in America,
Okay, yeah.
shit like that. Mentors,
Like a mentor, yeah.
yeah. I had a mentor. She had one. My brother, I think he had one. So yeah, when you go through stuff, like I don't know if they even have that anymore.
The mentors, I think they do. They do.
I know they got the city year.
I think it's still
Or
got
the-
mentors.
What's the city year?
You talking about the big brother, big father, whatever the fuck that is.
Big brother, sister.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like I'm appreciating the fact that growing up, I had my grandmother until she passed away, so I had people to make sure some of that stuff I was shared away from. You know what I'm saying? But growing up where it was just some of that shit was hard to keep away from. It was just what I'm saying. But they kept. I give them good credit for keeping me where it seemed normal. You feel me? It waited till I got older to look back and say that wasn't normal. You know what I'm saying? But when he was dead, I gave him credit for giving me a normal environment. You feel me? Like I know my father ain't had a whole bunch of money and shit, shit like that. Both of them was addicted to shit. You feel me? But at the same time, they both made sure it was an environment. Like we had a house to go to where we had our games, we had shit we can do. You feel me?
Yeah.
It was just like, you know what I'm saying?
They made sure we had a basic necessity.
Exactly.
We could
So
eat, roof over our
We
head, go to
was
school.
it was like normal to us, but we knew those two had problems. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Growing up like that, it was just different. I don't know. It's different than I'm just glad that those two made sure that it's just normal for us. You feel me? That the housing and everything was normal. My grandma made sure that really up until a good point, but up after that, they did make sure it was just like we normal, even though those two having issues. You feel me?
Right.
So that's why I appreciate it about them two. Even though they were so fucked. When you go back and think about it, like my mother was on crack, right? Just that alone. Father was snorting coke, selling coke. You know what I'm saying? So if you say those three things alone, that's a fucked up environment for a kid. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Y'all don't know the hell.
But I gotta give them credit on just giving it an environment of. Now the people was in there smoking crack, right? But it was like it wasn't around us. It was like it gave us an environment, put it like that, where I had a room. My little brother had a room. We had our own toys. We had our own TV. We had our own. We can go in and out of the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Everything was normal. Then we go to school. You feel me? It wasn't like it was a fucked up environment where everything was crack. Everything was cold. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't that.
We didn't have shoes, stuff like that.
It just wasn't like that. So that's why I gotta give them credit because they both were dealing with a substance abuse, right? As I get older and looking at it, but they made sure of that was hard to do when I look back on it, bro, because of the habits they had, especially crack.
I told you, crack is a powerful thing.
And for them to maintain it didn't. I mean, at the end, it fell off the track, but we all were old enough to get a hold of ourselves out there.
My father was on it. He was doing both. He was on it and selling it.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole all the way around in our shit. So,
and then we in DC, America, capital of America, walking up and down Southeast, Uptown, whatever. Shots rang out. We don't react to it. That's normal to us. He was walking up the street. Pow, 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 pow.
That is true.
Yeah, we just still walk like there's nothing. Like,
and then we would still walk up the street like ain't shit.
That's true. With candy in your hand and some motion.
Candy in your hand.
Every Halloween.
Ice cream.
Every Halloween is a shootout.
Ice cream.
Every Halloween.
Damn, that is problem.
I'm saying, if y'all ever grew up in Seton Place in Rhode Island Avenue area, trust me.
Oh, I know about them.
It was crack central.
Yes, man. I was 7 years old and got strip searched by the police. That's how bad it was. 7.
Crack central, bro.
Yeah.
But I always say, man, the neighborhood was more corroborative. We was more of a family, even though everybody was doing it.
I do agree with that. It was a village.
Yeah.
Everybody protected the kids.
It ain't like that no more.
Nope.
That's some wild shit.
You whoop my
Even though
kid.
everybody was doing legal shit out the street, literally. But it was more of a looking out for the kids, making sure they had money to go to school. Make sure get your ass to school, shit like that. And you can't, you know what I'm saying? Somebody tell you, grandma, like motherfucker snitching me on hook school and she told my grandma and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. Like everybody looked out for each other and shit. It was like they don't get that no more, man. It's like I don't know about black culture is scaring me, man. I don't know how we gonna be 50 years.
It's not that. It's the laws that govern us that changes. Like, okay, we still living off the laws that govern us from the 1700s. No, it's people, we still governed by the same laws that govern us the 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s. But we're in 2022. We're in a whole new millennium.
And they just passed the anti-lynching law in 2022.
Just passing that law. Like, people need to be in schools trying to figure out ways to how to change these declarations, how to change these laws that govern us, because the laws that govern us are not the same laws that we're living in today. No. You know, the law, they're trying to catch up because it's something different that hits them every day. Internet, social media, you know, everything hits them every day. They still trying to catch up because they're still trying to govern from the same laws from 200 years, 300 years ago. It's time to wake up. Like, it's not knocking the Republicans, not knocking Democrats or independents, but this is a reality world. Like, everything is social, everything is visible. Like, you can't hide nothing. Stop living stop government, change these laws, get rid of these laws. If you can't do it, look at the Declaration of Independence. It tells you if these people are not giving us what we want, we as the people can remove them from power. And this not by voting. We can remove them from power. Like, change these laws. Don't get me wrong. Biden is trying.
Oh yeah,
he is trying.
He passed about 100 different things, boy.
Yeah, he is trying. But hey, once them Democrats once the Republicans take over that house, it's gonna be a little hard. We got the Senate.
A lot of hard.
We got the Senate. You know, but it's gonna be hard.
They can't do it so much. You know what I'm saying? Because you know they only got like one.
They got one over, but then one switched to independent.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
man, you know Manchin think about that shit. You seen him the other day?
Yeah, Manchin thinking about doing it or switching over to Republicans so it could be back even 50-50.
Now you see how he just get the 2-point lead and they start acting up.
That's because somebody's out there offering them something. So the Democrats will never have a majority of not the House or the Senate.
It doesn't matter. We got majority. You gotta look at it. Vice President. He's the override.
Appreciate everybody, man. Coast to coast. Y'all heard about Megan and now I'm saying she said she didn't fuck him, bro. They saying now they did have sex. Megan and
Stallion.
Yeah.
They did.
Tory Lane.
The friend was the one that shot her in the foot. Allegedly.
They said the friend.
Yeah, they said he didn't have no his DNA wasn't on the gun.
I'm confused like shit, bro.
That's the DNA wasn't nothing on the gun.
Yeah. I don't get that one. That's gonna be real. That's gonna be tricky.
Like somebody said, I saw it on Instagram. They said that her case is like the best case.
Yeah, it's something Smith. It's something fishy in there. Yeah, the girl shot him in the foot. This is allegedly. Tory Lanez and her fuck. Not only Tory Lanez and her, also the baby was involved. And somebody else was in. So
Kylie Jenner, what's her name?
Kylie.
Yeah, Kylie Jenner was in there. There's a lot going on, boy. When we at the end of this trial, but I always told y'all when that bitch got on IG and said, "You shot me." Remember that thing?
Yeah.
I was like, that sounds odd. Like if somebody shot you, you're not gonna say, "You shot me." You know you shot me. Like, don't that sound hard, man?
She said she didn't call the police because at the time there's too much brutality going on. She didn't want the police to come.
That was hard.
That's why she didn't call the police.
I don't know, bro. But she said to Gail Kim she did have a fuck her. Right? She got on IG and said some other shit about he shot her in the show. So those two were lies. That's where the problem gonna come in right there, bro. We have more. I'm trying to get way more information. It'll be more information by the time we come back Wednesday for sure. You know what I'm saying, dog? I think someone come out with she's a fucking liar.
I already know she was.
That's my baby and everything, but I think you're lying, baby. That's an itchy feeling that you're lying like a motherfucker.
You gotta think about it. Tory Lane, nobody read this shit.
If this bitch ass shot you in the toe, then we're not gonna let him slide off that. But if you lying about the whole thing, come on, man. Shit.
And then there was some rumors at the time saying that she stepped on some glass.
Yeah, that shit too. See, now something, her ass was open. Man.
I don't know.
Leaking. She was leaking.
I don't know. It's like this. His DNA wasn't on the gun or the magazine. It's like OJ.
She was leaking too. Somebody shot her ass. She was leaking.
No, sir. She was leaking.
She was damn sure leaking.
She was leaking and ain't come out with coochie.
That's true. It wasn't period time either. Third Perspective, 17,000 downplay, Spotify Go Podcast. We out of here. College your boys Wednesday. You know what I'm saying, dog? Got the cake right here, dog. 17,000. Cake good as shit too.
Yeah, we gonna take a thing.
You get sneaky and probe it.
Get sneaky, baby. Third Perspective, Spotify Google Podcast, Apple Podcast. College your boys when you get a chance. You know what I'm saying, dog? Twitch, Twitter. Get us to 10,000. We at 9. College your boys. Fuck the Black Power Awards. Gum job. Appreciate you. Bobby, Miss Monica. Who else? Shorty. Radical, of course, Radical Real. You know what I'm saying? Now, everybody got us through this year. Then we got one more for the year end. We got the awards, the Black Women of the Year for sure. And the Bama of the Year. We never forget the Bama of the Year. Next week. All right, your boys. Third Perspective. Fuck you, Black Power Awards.